We welcome you to the first show of 2026. This is Rams Talk, and we're going to go over just a quick recap of what happened on Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. As you see, the Rams came out on top 37-20 as the Rams improved to 12-5 to close out the year after just a rough patch during the month of December. But let's talk about Sunday's game. How about the stats by the Rams? Matthew Stafford, 25 of 40 for 259, four touchdowns, zero interceptions, as he continues to show why he should be the MVP for this season. Also, the running game actually was better. Kyron Williams, 12 rushes for 60 yards. And then Blake Corum, who we didn't think he was going to play because of the knee injury suffered last week in Atlanta, 13 rushes, 59 yards, but no rushing touchdowns for the Rams. Meanwhile, Puka Nacua, after just a great game a couple of weeks ago in Seattle, 10 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. And then Tyler Higbee, for the first time this in over a few months, five catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. And then Colby Parkinson, who's been filling in for Tyler, four receptions, 36 yards, and he had two touchdowns. As you see, Puka Nacua happy, Matthew Stafford with the throws, and then you see Parkinson with one of his touchdowns. Let's talk about the defense. How about the defense? As you see the stats here, McCullough, five tackles, two assists. Look at Jared Verse had three tackles. Carmen Curl had three assists. Akilu Witherspoon, who we remember last season against the Cardinals on Christmas, sealed the win that helped the Rams win the division, gets an interception. And then you see Kobe Turner on a fumble recovery by Josiah Stewart, who actually forced it. So two turnovers by this Rams defense, and they were able to put away the Cardinals in the second half. Now to the key points of the game here. Simple. Rams had a slow start in the first half until the final 2 minutes for the first half to go up by 10. They had field goals. They were going back and forth. They were moving the ball, but just couldn't do much in the beginning. But with after the first touchdown, their confidence boosted and they were able to go up by 10 points at halftime. As you see, the Rams, they forced two turnovers in Sunday's win. Matthew Stafford, again, threw for four touchdowns on Sunday. Shows why he is a candidate for that MVP battle. It's going to be between him and the quarterback of the New England Patriots. So we'll see how this goes. It could determine how far both the Rams and Patriots go. As you know, there are other contenders for the MVP, but so far I have two on my eyes, and that's between Stafford and then the quarterback of the Patriots. And then you see the Rams getting healthy at the right time. They had a lot of starters come back this week. Tutu Atwell's been back for a while. Tyler Higbee, I think just the big presence of him there, that veteran tight end who can actually catch the ball anytime Stafford needs him. He almost had 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. The only one that didn't play was Davante Adams. He was actually held out of this game, and that was by Coach Sean McVay. He actually made that decision after not playing last Monday night. He felt that the players that he had were enough to get the win on Sunday. But chances are, and I don't have to say chances are, it is going to be Davante Adams going to play in the playoffs this Saturday against the Panthers. We'll talk about the playoffs in a moment. Actually, we'll talk about it now. And these are the matchups for this weekend. As you see, the Seahawks clinched the NFC West by virtue of their victory over the 49ers last Saturday night. With the Rams' victory on Sunday against the Cardinals, the Rams have clinched the 5 seed here, and which means they will play the Panthers on Saturday, and that'll be the first game. The Rams will open up the playoffs on Saturday. You can catch that game on Fox at 1:30 here on the West Coast, 4:30 Eastern on the East Coast. Game will be played at Carolina, where the Rams already made their first visit there just a couple of weeks ago, and in a game where everybody believed they should have won, but just turnovers and bad defense really sealed the Rams in the second half, which really helped them lose the division. As you see the other matchups here, we have the Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. old classic matchup there, 7 versus 2, and then the um, second game on Saturday. I'm sorry, Sunday will be the 49ers and the Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champions, which I have to say that the Niners are going to have a tough road against the champions. So I'm sure the Rams and a lot of Ram fans wanted the Eagles to avenge the playoff loss, and then also the loss earlier this year where it was sealed by a blocked field goal. But the scenario here is that Seattle will host the remaining Lord seed. Now, what does that mean? That means that if Green Bay wins, so that means if this team wins, they'll play this team, regardless of the other two matchups. Now, let's say they lose. If they win, if the Bears win, if the 49ers win, if they're able to put up the upset, if the Rams can get a revenge game against both the Panthers, they be out, they will be out. This team would go to Seattle, and the Rams will host the second highest remaining seed, which is the Chicago Bears. So a lot could happen here on Saturday, or actually this whole weekend itself, because anything can happen in the playoffs, as we've seen. Rams making another playoff appearance under Sean McVay. The Bears making their first playoff appearance in a couple years. The Panthers, I have to say this, but they're the champions of the North, but they actually came in with a losing record. And in the last episode of the show, I mentioned that if the Falcons were to beat the Rams, which they did, they would take advantage of what would happen. Now, keep in mind, this team lost to Tampa Bay, so they needed New Orleans to beat the Falcons so the Bucks can get in. But regardless of the loss, the Panthers won, and that's why they're in. Again, rarely every now and then we'll see a team with a losing record win a division, and I believe this is the second time in the last few years that the losing record came out of the NFC South. Many of you recall back in 2022, it was the Bucks who finished 8-9 and just got whomped by the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs, which was Tom Brady's final game. So again, these are the playoff matchups. Rams will play on Saturday. 49ers and Eagles Sunday. And I believe the late game or the early game will be Green Bay or Bears. But we'll see what the matchups are. But we know the Rams will play Saturday to open up the playoffs. And again, if they win, they'll go to Chicago or Philadelphia if the top seed teams lose. But we know Seattle's going to have home field advantage. And I think the Rams can win in Seattle. They won there before. They should have won there on that Thursday night. But none of that matters at this time. So let's talk about the next game that the Rams are going to be playing. So it'll be 4:30 Saturday. The Rams will take on the Panthers. It'll be in Carolina. As we mentioned, the Panthers defeated the Rams 31-28 back in Week 13. Again, the Rams had the lead, but the Panthers were able to score on the Rams. The Rams marching down late, a fumble by Stafford, some turnovers, and the pick six really hurt the Rams that day. But as we say in the NFL, that is why they play the game. If the Rams can win, if the Rams can win, a couple of things are going to have to happen. Stafford is going to have to play perfect. Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, those are the big three I'm looking at on offense. Kyron Williams has to run the ball well. Blake Corum has to run the ball well. So these are your playmakers on offense. If they can get it going early, the Rams can win. Now the defense, Kobe Turner, Jared Verse, Byron Young, he got hurt against the Cardinals, but he is going to play. They have to play perfect. This defense is going to have to first force turnovers. They're going to have to get 3-and-outs. They have to keep that Carolina offense off the field. If they can do those specific scenarios, the Rams can win. For Davante Adams, he's going to have to play a big game. He's been out of action for a couple of weeks. He should be well rested. He might be rusty, though, because he hasn't played. But I believe in the system that Sean McVay has. You got two great running backs. Focus on running the ball if you're the Rams. Focus on defense. Get those turnovers. Get those sacks. Get those 3-and-outs. If you do that, you will win the game. Remember, this team was once favored to go all the way to the Super Bowl. The Rams were once favored to win the NFC West, and they were once favored to be the one seed and the best team in the NFL. But they've been exposed the last few weeks. It started with that Thursday night collapse in Seattle, and then the debacle Monday night performance in Atlanta, which they came out to a bad start, but they never gave up and they came back and they could have won it. I know some referee calls were involved. Again, we can't speculate on that, but hoping that we get a good, clean matchup here on Saturday when it comes to the officiating. So go Rams. This is the Rams house. This is the Rams here. Many of us believe that. That's going to be it for this segment of Rams Talk. We want to thank you guys for tuning in throughout the season. Again, our next episode, episode, we'll have a recap of the playoff game. And then if the Rams win, we will preview who will be the next opponent. But again, Saturday, 1:30. Go celebrate it. Go cheer for the Rams. Let's get this win. Go to the next round. I am E. I want to thank you guys for watching. You guys have a great night. We'll see you next time.